getting chased by wild dogs, ingesting rat poison, and almost dying from a stomach hemorrhage. What do these three things have in common? They're all separate parts of what made the 1904 Olympics Marathon a complete train wreck of an event. Taking place in St. Louis, Missouri, it was the first time the Olympics were ever held outside of Europe. It was a hot and humid August day, with a temperature being in the 90s. Those participating in the marathon were meant to run through a roughly 25-mile-long course, going through numerous hills that could get up to 300 feet high. The roads were rough, with stone debris spread throughout the course, and thick clouds of dust getting kicked in the air as it was used. Adding to these hazards, the path wasn't strictly reserved for racers, meaning they'd have to avoid oncoming traffic as they ran. To make matters worse, the event's chief organizer, James Sullivan, only devised there to be one water stop halfway into the race, purposely limiting the available fluid for the participants in order to test the effects of dehydration. With a rough setup like this, it's no wonder that the marathon would go poorly, but for it to completely fall apart the way that it does is stunning. Out of the 32 entrants taking part in the event, only 14 were able to cross the finish line, the lowest number of finishers in the history of the Olympics. William Garcia, who was initially in the lead, fell victim to the track's harsh conditions. Getting 15 miles through the race, the excessive dust coated his esophagus, tearing his stomach lining and giving him an almost fatal stomach hemorrhage. Another racer, Felix Carvajal, was also halted due to stomach issues. However, his were due to eating rotten apples from an orchard partway through the race. Stomach cramps left him laying flat on the side of a road, where he would fall asleep and be out of commission for some time. Despite this delay, Carvajal still finished in 4th place, speaking to how cursed the rest of the competitors must have been. Such as Len Tanyain, who was in a good position until a wild dog chased him off course for a whole mile, setting him back enough to put him in 9th place overall. With misfortune befalling so many of the racers, just how easy was it for the first place finisher to win? Well, it was easier than you might expect. 9 miles into the marathon, Fred Lohr started suffering from cramps as well, so he hitched a ride from a passing vehicle that would carry him through 11 miles of the course. Running the last 5 miles on his own, he'd be able to relish in the glory of being the first person to cross the finish line, until he was called out for cheating. Lohr would claim that he only did it as a joke, not intending to carry out as the official winner. But regardless, he was banned from the Olympics for life due to his fraudulence. For 1 year. The actual winner of the marathon was Thomas Hicks, who was in utter agony throughout the grueling race. Not only was he putting up with the awful conditions of the course, but his trainers had also fed him a concoction of egg whites and strychnine, a strong poison often used to kill rats as a performance-enhancing drug. Exhausted, ill, and suffering from hallucinations, Hicks couldn't even cross the finish line on his own, needing to be carried across it by his handlers. His finishing time ended up being around 3.5 hours, setting another record for the Olympics as the slowest time in history. From start to finish, this marathon was a complete mess, one that we'll probably never see the likes of ever again.